Well, today is March 2nd, 2022, and I had to make another important payment for my kids. So it was the second one that I was able to get out. It took me 2 years to get situated in the situation that I'm in. I'm not blaming the pandemic completely, but it did have a toll. But it took me 2 years to get to this point. To have the excess amount that they wanted for the second payment. So that's payment number 2. And I do miss all my kids. I miss them. So
please subscribe show YouTube. Cole Spivey. That was good. That was real good.
all right. Well, I called, the government offices and stuff like that I needed to call to verify things. And I highly recommend that with things like this, to talk to a customer service person, or at least to talk to someone over the phone, because they'll have information about you and they'll be able to verify who you are and things like that. So the reason why is because there's some sites out there you have to watch out for. Everybody knows that what we're going through, especially when the pandemic took off. There was some stuff. I'll change the subject, but I was going to apply to be a UPS driver, and some weird things happened in one of their interviews. It was an online thing, but anyway, I don't know. I never verified if it was a real site or not. But those are the things that you have to worry about. A lot of times, it'll have an address. The website will have an actual address, and also you can call. Usually on most sites, you'll be able to call to verify stuff like that, especially if it's a governmental site or a government site, things like that. And those things will advance over time. The government, I think, has had some trouble, with those types of sites and things like that, just because they're not exactly the creator of the internet. They just use the internet. It was created by private businesses and things like that, or private people. But anyway, that's regards to the. Anyway, we're back on 35W. We're headed back to the Speedway. So today's an important day. I just wanted to log that, and we'll see what happens next. I'll try to find something halfway interesting. I know I don't want y'all watching this going. Anyway, it's still, I find these kinds of things highly interesting. So, because it's people's real lives kind of stuff, Note to all new married men, or men that are going to get married. If you're in the actual wedding, which you should be if you're getting married, and the bride goes, "I do," make her go like this. Anyways, the thing. I do. Oh, there's Prime. So most of those Prime trucks are run by third parties, believe it or not. And I think they pay up to like $24 an hour starting off. So that 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock makes a big difference. But your 4 o'clock is going to have quite a bit more traffic. 444 is what I'm at now. I'm hoping to get there before 5. I think the other day I left a little bit before 3, and that was kind of the magic time to leave, but I had to stop off and make a payment today. So that makes a big difference in the rhythm of traffic. Everybody knows this. It's not like a new philosophy or anything. As they say, there's nothing new under the sun, but there are new things that come up, I think, every once in a while, especially when it comes to technology. All right, let's look at the bridge that they're constructing over 35W. It's right over by the Speedway area, the Alliance. Just looking for new stuff. Those poles look new. The red poles at the top with the wires on them. Coming along pretty nice. Well, picked one up at Chipotle over by the Speedway. You can kind of see it distance way over there. Not the Chipotle, but the Speedway. Someone got something that's called like a barbacoa burrito or something like that. And some chips and blanco.
Panda, what can I get started for you today?
Oh, hi. This particular branch stopped the black pepper chicken. They only have the black pepper steak. But they do have many chicken dishes like mushroom, kung pao, sesame, honey sesame, things like that. But I guess at one time they had black pepper chicken. Now it's black pepper Angus steak. So as time goes by, and I've been doing this whole divorce thing for about 3 years, and I've started to come to conclusion I have a secret in marriage. And I'm not talking about like faithfulness in an intimate way kind of thing, and this next thing I'm talking about. But I know it sounds risky to say or racy, but in marriage, I think you do best if you treat the other partner as if you're not married. And what I mean by that is that you don't own them. They're still independent. They still are a person. And just because you're married to them does not mean that you're necessarily an owner of them. Yeah, if you marry someone, you are married. So you do become married. It's a legal thing and it's all this stuff, right? It's also a church thing. It's also a spiritual thing. But you don't own that person. They're still their own entity. They're still their own independent person themselves. That's what I mean by you treat them as if you're not married to them, as if they're your friend. And that's kind of what Jesus did, didn't he? Remember? Jesus said that. He said, you know what? I'm no longer your master. Don't call me master. Call me friend. I'm your friend. I'm just your friend. It's a different kind of an existence. When you're friends with someone, you're like a peer. You're like an equal. You're a friend. That's probably a better suggestion, is if you're married to someone, they're your friend. And you have to be understanding, you have to be forgiving, and you have to realize that they're a person and all that kind of stuff. If you treat them as a friend and not as an owned property or something that you own and you have to dictate, then that marriage will last as long as you're friends. Because friends don't stab each other in the back. And friends are honest with one another. And friends will always be forgiven. And friends will always be forgiving. And another thing about friendship is that you're friends with them for a mysterious reason, just as Jesus is friends with us for a reason that we don't completely 100% understand, other than the fact that he loves us. I guess it's not too mysterious, but it is bound in love. Friendship is bound in love. Remember the friends that you had when you were younger and you ran around and you did things with? You got on a bicycle or went on an adventure. You did that out of friendship, but you also did that out of love, because you love that other person, no matter who they were, because you cared about them, because you saw them as a person, as a friend. That's what I wanted to say. This is something interesting. The sign back there, I didn't get to capture it, but it does say pet friendly, but it also says now leasing. So these are like, I think, homes, not bedrooms, but they have 1 to 2, 3 bedrooms. They're actually homes that are for lease. I don't know if that's where I'm going right now. I think it might be. Figure out, but it's this little area called Avilla Reserve. But these are like little homes that are for lease. It's a whole neighborhood of them off of SH 114.
The villas are actually located in Justin, Texas, and their one bedrooms are as cheap as about $1,700 a month. I drove through there and I found everything to be very peaceful. The housing units are very close together, but they are separated, so they don't share a wall. Thought it was pretty cool.
So it looks like a series of wide load homes here, and I guess over here too, although those look like more like homes. They have covered parking. It's almost kind of like an apartment complex a little bit, but they're actually houses that are right next door to each other. I've never really seen anything like this. I know it's not anything completely new, but very tightly closed, little, almost like, I guess you could say maybe townhomes. They're wide load homes. You can kind of see they just kind of put them all in here, and they have like addresses. So there's the old rustic tower that I passed. They're almost like apartment homes, but it's right off. They actually have their own street, so it says Lego Street, but you can lease them, just like you would at an apartment. And it's set up very much like a house. It even has these garages here. This is a classic car right here. It looks almost like a, I don't know what that is. It says Austin on the outside of it though. It's a very old one, but I thought it was cool. This is a cool leasing area right here. I guess the same idea apartments would be, but they may not have the same restrictions as apartments too. And there could be a little bit more privacy, depending on if these units are shared or not, or if they're all independent little homes that are set up in an apartment style kind of layout, almost like apartment homes. It's called a villa.
It seems like the interiors have a lot of light flowing through them. As you can see here, there's even higher windows at the top. And also sliding glass doors. And the amenities and the appliances are usually higher end.
I meant to say contact Liz, but looks like this train has been parked for quite a bit of time. It looks like it's mostly engines. Maybe they're going through a mechanical state, being worked on. But I think every single one of these are actual engines. I think they're Uncle Pete too, which means Union Pacific. This one says Norfolk Southern, so some of them were Union Pacific. This house was kind of cool. What was really cool is their mailbox. I like that little, it's like a glass kind of thing right here. It's a little extra detail on their mailbox. It's pretty cool. So that place right there is called Tally Park. And there's a nursing home right here. I get a lot of drops here for some reason. Kind of in the Justin area. Looks like a good fishing spot though. There's actually someone out there fishing right now. Probably got at least perch in there. That lady was funny because she said that most of the orders go to that house that has that marble looking mailbox, crystal glass thing. She said they must be getting a lot of good food there because people will just go and drop off food there, I guess, and take a photo of it. They're fishing out there right now. Pond looks like it's still recovering from the freeze. Kind of see there's like some kind of soot or something on the pond. But anyway, yeah, so pretty funny. So this place is kind of like at the end of this one road, which is I guess Meadowview is the road, but it curves around right here, so you don't really think that this is a road. It looks like just the entrance to the nursing home. And the address down there, the red brick home, is 110. So a lot of people were thinking that that house is 120, which that's too much of a gap, 110 then right to 120, because that's the address that I dropped at Meadowview, because the nursing home is on Meadowview. So this house right here, they're getting a lot of the food deliveries right here. So they're probably very well fed if they want to be. At least they take it to the nursing home. But that house is actually the 110 I was talking about. I might have got that confused. Anyway, 110, 120. That next door house is not 120. It doesn't have an address though, so you can't really figure it out. That was one thing I was saying to myself when I was vlogging the mailbox, was like, there's no address on that house. So if you don't have an address on your house, you might get some free stuff. And there is that famous mural artist of Justin painting. Well, he's not of Justin, but he's done some Justin stuff. He got a lot of views on my channel. Appreciate that. I don't know for sure if this is copyrighted, but it's one of my favorites. It's in the movie Platoon. I believe it's I want to say it's Canon on D is what I'm gonna find out about it. It's a really good. It was written for a dying queen. I don't know for sure if it's copyrighted though. We'll find out. This is Allsup's right here. It's real popular in Arizona. I just found out the other day. Big Arizona place.
It came in at number 12 on your top 50 this year, and not hard to see why. Beautiful piece by Samuel Barber.
Samuel Barber.
Adagio for Strings.
Adagio for
Strings. Of the
Strings.
Boston Symphony with Cheryl Moonch
I got it
conducting.
wrong. Yeah.
And this is the home.
It's Adagio for Strings. Samuel Barber. Should know that by now. Yeah, Adagio for Strings. It's Samuel Barber. It's actually written for a dying queen. I'll do more research on it later. It's a great, great piece. They used it in the movie Platoon when William Dafoe's character, I think his name was Elias. His name was Elias. He was the one that was against Barnes, the sergeant. But anyway, Elias felt that as a soldier, that he worked better alone, and took a counter ambush to go alone to take down a bunch of VC in the jungle. Supposedly this really happened. You have to ask Oliver Stone though, because it's based on Oliver Stone's life, in Vietnam. And he goes out, but unfortunately, Barnes actually tracks him down. Which Barnes is a sergeant that's very militant and dictator kind of like, and is on the hard side of life, not being very merciful, and decides, because they got in a fight over what was the My Lai massacre, decides to take his life and goes out and kills him, blames it on the VC. Well, he doesn't actually really die. You just think he does at that moment. He shoots him, but you think he's dead, but he survives. And they get on the chopper and take off, and you see a moment where Elias comes running after the chopper, and the VC are really after him this time. And he throws his hands up in the air. It's a very iconic moment in cinema, and they use Samuel Barber's Adagio for String for that moment. It was a perfect, I think, example in film of using music with a moment and a segment and a scene, especially in a war film. Brilliant choice in music.
Watch out. Vehicle on shoulder ahead.
Now they're saying animals are nearby. I don't know if they're talking about those cows right there. But supposedly you can choose, and probably be on the road. I don't know if it'd be on the shoulder. They're probably talking about this roadkill right here. But it said animal. That's actually a skunk. Let's go on the road. Let's go to... Yeah, I don't see it. Probably maybe it'd be shoulder. Shoulder here. Yep, animals. You can report animals even though it's a dead animal. I don't know if they're talking about animals somewhere around here. I could smell the skunk, so maybe it was alive. That was a roadkill. I put them down as animal, but that's just because I was working. I was working with this thing right here. I mean, I was testing it. Is what I meant to say. So you can report animals if you see animals. I want to say this is Cleveland Gibbs Road, but it's kind of one of those roads. I think, you know, it could be like in a movie, you know, or at least a vlog. But it's just a very big open field. Then you can see the highway on the other end. Kind of gets busy a little bit though, you know. It's a road that I take quite often if I'm dealing with like pickups in North Lake, or going in between maybe Argyle, North Lake, or maybe headed back to the Speedway kind of thing. It's a well-traveled road, I guess you could say. Also, there's that old rustic tower there, too. Cross Timbers is the other road that crosses on it. Might go get some Sip and Save.